In this section, we are going to look at multiplying and dividing, and then cleaning up our results when we are done with radicals. So our first example has root 12 times root 6, square root of 12 times square root of 6. One of the nice things about root operations is when you're multiplying, you can be a little bit sloppy in the sense that this is the equivalent of saying the square root of 12 times 6. And because of that handy fact, we're going to write it that way and then break it down and have our factors essentially already started. We could do 6 times 12 and get 72, but then our next step of simplifying is going to require us to start dividing back down anyway. So we're going to leave it in this state here because it makes it easier to work with the numbers. The 12, when we break it down to start simplifying, breaks down to 2 times 6, or 3 times 4. But let's do it this way. 6 is 2 times 3, and this 6 is also 2 times 3. So that 12 was broken down, that 6, and that 6 was broken down. So our first step was just realizing that we can be a little sloppy with multiplication because it all can just come together under one root, looking almost the same. Second step was to break it down into a factor tree. Third step, we're going to look for our pairs and continue simplifying as we did before. But we're allowed to mix and match, since it's all one big pile of multiplication now. We're allowed to mix and match factors from both of those two numbers. And we have that leftover 2 in there. So we have a pair of 2s, a pair of 3s, and leftover 2. So that means that we have the square root of 2 squared times 3 squared times 2. Or, if you're catching on to this, you can go straight ahead to the next step, which is to say the 2's come out front, the 3's come out front, and then the leftover 2 stays under the root. So your final answer is 6 square root of 2. Go on to another example here, and we're going to use one that introduces variables. So if we look down here, we have numbers on the inside, and then we have numbers on the outside. Those do not mix in one big messy pile of multiplication. Only things under the root multiplied by other things under the root can come together. So if we were to rewrite this, we could rewrite this as -4 square root of, and then everything else. 2, and I'm going to mix my numbers together, and then my letters together separately. So we have a 2 here, and a 3 here. We use that -4 out front. K cubed, and then K squared. And all of those are under the root. 2 and 3 are both prime, they don't break down. My K here breaks down into K times K times K, and this K squared breaks down to K times K. So I see that I have a pair of K's, another pair of K's, and a leftover here. So this 2 and this 3 are both going to be leftovers as well. They don't have a partner, they don't have a square. So -4 is still out front. My K's, K squared, is going to come directly out front. We're going to skip a step here. K's come directly out front. And then we are left with 2, 3, and K behind in the radical. So cleaning this up, -4, K times K is K squared. Square root of 2 times 3 is 6, K. We'll continue division in the next video.